Righty. We should be ready to get started. Part two, talking about transitions, going over games from our previous tournament. Now, we also had the Battle Royale tournament. So I thought we'd look at a couple of those games first. Also, you guys voted last week, Wednesday, that I not that I'd spend some time playing in Dakus's I am not an I am not an I am tournament. Yeah, Sudakus. Yes, I'm not an I am. Okay, make sure I get that right. So you guys suggested I do that. I might do that. I will see. I'm going to have to check and see where he's at. Hey, Chess Wizard. I need to get his link to join his tournament, and so I'll see. He should be going on soon. He usually goes on about this time, but hey, we'll see. We'll figure it out. HS Wizard. Oh, yes. And guess who the 100th was? I'm pretty sure the 100th was Lycan. So, also Math Man, as you know. So, yeah, I don't know if he was exactly at 100. I think he was. But yes, I'm at 100. Woo! 100 followers. It's just a nice number, right? It's a nice number. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. We ever get to 200, 300. Some people have thousands of followers. I'm happy with the 100 we have by far. I was happy with the 50, happy with the 20. Anyway, as long as they're quality follows, people that actually care and want to be here and they come and check us out and spend time with us and learn together, I'm happy. All right, so we're working on transitioning from from the middle game to the end game. Then next week we'll work on transitioning from the open to the middle game. All right, so we're working on transitions. How do you know when you should transition? So this is a game from the Battle Royale last night, which Chess Wizard, I think you missed. Bonjour, Leonard. Bonjour. Um, so I'm sorry, I think you missed that one. We could have used you. The class team did okay, but they could have used some help. So as you know, this is quite a common opening for us. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, that's what Chess Wizard was saying too. You played me. Oh, you did. You were there. Now that I think about it, you were there. Were you which team? And you were playing for the team. Yes. Yes. You know who you missed? David. David's been playing really well, and he played for the wrong team. Leonard played for the wrong team too, but it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, David definitely should have been on your team. So this looks very familiar, right? We've been here. And so here, White says, yep, you can have the pawn. Could add a free pawn. We'd have to chase you away first, and then we'll start our operations over here. But Black first said he wanted to get out of this check. But it doesn't really stop you from taking. So we took anyway. And now this is the same thing that would have happened. The only difference was the king would have been here, and he would have been up a free pawn. Sorry, Chess Wizard, I'm getting old. I can't remember stuff. So he does get the rook to move over this way, which is different than having to move over here if the king was still here. So that is a benefit, right? I mean, he has an immediate attack he could do, which would force White probably push this pawn and lose his rook. So that's his threat right now. We pushed. Now, uh, he could ignore it, come here with some ugly threats. We get a push, and then he could take the rook, and even if I take back, he's up. So this is bad. This is bad for White that I can see, because I really don't see any good ways to stop this mayhem that's going to happen. I think you pretty much have to go with this, right? And then once you go with this, he's taking, and depending on how you want to take back, the bishop just can say, I'm free, I go back. And so now he's up the exchange. Okay, he'd be up the exchange. So, but it is White's move here. So White didn't, maybe this is the mistake White made, and maybe White should immediately attack the rook. Now there's no time to do this. Well, there still is, but you would take here, take back, and then the bishop can go here, would be here already, and you'd still win the rook with the bishop, but then we would just take back, and then so we'd still be on White would still be happier. And then so the rook really has only this square, which blocks the bishop. So that kind of deters that whole deal. And look, he doesn't have any place to go here. None of these squares are open. This is the only square, and it'll block, like I said, block the bishop. And then we can chase. Then he could go here, but we could get out of the mess that white was going to get in. So white missed that move. First one was white should have probably done that move. Okay, so we missed moves both ways. Again, bishop here would have been nice. Missed moves. Okay. So again, I think that black could have went here. The bishop would have held, and it would have been fine. It would have been chasing around. It would have been interesting, but I chose to go the other way, which gave away the rook for the bishop. And we get into simplification because white's figuring he's up the exchange. And so far, so good. Here, again, white missed probably the right move is just to take. Again, we're trying to simplify, so just take. Probably retreat the queen, and then you can get the rook on the open file, and you have definitely more pawns than your opponent. But allowed this. Now, they are two more pawn islands, right? We pulled that pawn, but it was a backward pawn. And that backward pawn was much weaker than this pawn. So we actually helped black to improve his pawn structure, which we shouldn't have. Then we get into this mess. Very good move by Dolo. Threatening, not threatening, but going to put the bishop here, disconnecting the rook from his protection, right? Another way to stop a piece from protecting. This move doesn't do anything that I thought it would. he disconnects the protection, and I said, well, I'll go for that pawn instead. He says, well, I'll just protect. And I had this clever idea that the queen could come here, chase the king, and maybe win this pawn, but forgetting that the queen would be here. So it's not really going to be an easy win of that pawn. I said, okay, well, I'll push this pawn too. Now I've got 3 pieces on that pawn and missing totally this next move. Don't ask me why I missed it. I was actually surprised when it happened. I was like, wait, he can't. Oh, check. Ooh. And then I knew I was in trouble. And I was in trouble. So I start running and I'm in trouble. And this move is also dangerous. I don't want to go back here though. See, I can't go here because the queen comes here and wins the rook. I could go here. Queen comes here, doesn't win the rook. I come here next. Bishop comes here, and then he wins the rook. In fact, something like that happens. Oh no, it doesn't because I decide to give away the rook this way. I'm thinking if he takes the rook, I can get check here. So that would win the bishop with check, and then I hopefully can chase the king around because I'm about to lose my advantage of the exchange. Pretty depressing. Of course, he can go back here, and we could go back and forth, and he could force a draw. No problem here for him. So he has to decide, does he have a win or should he force a draw? This is that transition. Try and decide, should I simplify and go for the draw or should I try to go for the win? He went for the win. Can't blame him. I sacked my rook because I'm in trouble. Now, if he had chased my king, he probably would have been able to get the rook with the queen and been winning easily. So he would have had to chase the. Oh, he can't. Sorry, he's in check. Sorry, forgot. He's in check. So we have to do this exchange, and now he has checkmate. And Dolo realized this afterwards. I don't know if he checked the computer. I don't know if somebody told him, but he had mate right here, and it's a dovetail mate where it takes away all those squares. The king is helping out, and this pawn is blocking the king's escape. So he had mate in one on me. Good for me, bad for him. And the time wasn't too bad. He had 3 minutes and 21 seconds. I was down to 31 seconds. Because when I made this check mistake, I had to try to figure out, can I even survive? It used up a lot of time, guys. A lot of time. So he missed the mate here and went here. Right? Okay. So I start trying to escape. And I keep trying to escape. And I keep trying to escape. And I find this move. I like this one because it was right. It was a weird pawn move. It's not en passant because you did have a chance to attack. This pawn is looking like he's going to queen sometime really soon. So it's just scary situation. Hey Flavio, ¿cómo está? Yeah, it's just ugly, scary. And I'm thinking he probably even had checkmate here. Tell you the truth, guys. Let's see. No, I can come back down. Okay. If I go up, then it's mate. Okay, if I go up, it's mate. Is it not? No, it's not mate. Duh. Never mind. Okay, so it wasn't mate either way. Never mind. But I was thinking that he would just take another pawn, come here, then maybe even go here. And I am just trying to get him to stop having checks. That's my goal in life. Don't really want to go here because then this pawn queens, right? Too easy. I can't do it then. And so he could just keep checking me and we could see what would happen, but I need to get close to this pawn. Anyway, luckily none of that happened. We went. Where did we go? Okay, so he did check here. I did drop back. I didn't go up, which is probably very good for me because I need to stay close to this pawn. And I went down because I saw no more checks. I knew if I went up, he had a check here. He had a check here. So I was just trying to get a moment to chase his king around. Right? That's all I could do at that point because I was gasping for air and I was at 13 seconds continuously. He threatens to queen the pawn next move, guys. Queen the pawn next move. So time for me to start checking his king. And I could have taken. I just didn't pay attention. If I took he takes, I get to go grab the pawn. And then I have three connected pass pawns, three connected pass pawns side by side. Look at that beautiful thing. And these pawns aren't going anywhere. So I should have traded right there. I missed the chance to trade. I thought this pawn would queen, forgetting that he has to take back, and I'm in range. And I just, I had said on the stream, I was streaming during the tournament, and I said, I'm just going to keep checking him so I can get time back on my clock. All right. So then I thought, oh, if I go grab this pawn, life is good. And I'm protecting this pawn. So if he queens, I just protect. I take it. I figured, oh, I'm good. And he has no, and he still doesn't have a check. So I'm like, I'll just go eat the pawn. And of course, he protected the pawn. And then I realized, okay, let's try to get some more time back on the clock. And I'm trying to add time. I'm at 12 seconds. I'm hovering around 10 and 12 seconds, and I'm just chasing him around. And again, I should have traded any chance I could. Now I'm going to force a trade. I finally had enough time while I was chasing around looking at the board, realizing my king can capture the pawn. So we take right away, and I get my pawn where it needs to be. Then I can start running, and we win. All right. So uh, again, understanding the end game back here. Dolo had to decide that, you know what, he is the one who's going to. He had to see from our endgame studies, guys. He had to see that that pawn is catchable at this point. Me, I should have traded off right away. So right here, he can't afford to do this. He should have counted and said, yeah, if he does that, he loses. He loses. So he has to keep running his king around and keep threatening this. If he ever trades off the queens, this gets caught, depending on when it happens. But as it happened in the game when I took here, he couldn't push because the queen would just take. He had to take back the queen. Something, right? So yeah, the whole thing is he couldn't once he lost the chance to check, he is definitely losing, and this pawn wasn't going to queen. So it was very difficult for him. He had to keep finding ways, and I had to keep checking him, and he had to see if he could stop me from checking him. Unfortunately, as you see, he can't hide here behind this pawn. And any place else he goes, I have checks. I don't think he could hide his king. And if he can't hide his king, then at some point, if I can get to the trade the queens, I would win. So it's pretty funny because he actually offered it right away. And again, if I wasn't so scared on time, I was so scared. I was very scared. I did not take the time to notice that I'm okay. I would have just taken and said, "Great, I'm in there." But anyway, interesting end game. Interesting end game. All right, here's another one. I got to play a couple of games in the Battle Royale, so I'll show two of them. This one, Flavio. Yes, it's you, my friend. It was a good game. It was a very interesting game. But this one I like because it shows you something about the end game, right? So talking about transitioning to the end game again. White, right? White had a nice square for his knight. I don't have a problem with that personally, but I am looking at this knight and this pawn are both only protected once. So we attack the knight. Now, if white had just taken, right? If white just takes, he's good to go. And then he could do what he wanted to do, which was push the knight away. And this would have been fine. White would be fine. He's right in the game. Everything's closed up, very closed up center. But he first, and this is just like which move comes first. So Flavio attacked the knight first, trying to chase him away before he dealt with this knight. And the problem here is this take that black does attacks the queen. So again, you don't have time to take this knight. Okay, good. And Flavio, remind me. Actually, forget to remind me. I'll show you right now. I know you know about this because we've shown it. So under puzzles on Lichess, let me go full screen here for a sec. On the puzzles on Lichess, you can do puzzle themes. So hopefully you're coming here and doing pawn endgames, which is what I preached 2 weeks ago, and rook endgames, which is what we worked on last week. So you can come here and do puzzles based on these endgame themes. Awesome, Flavio. Awesome. And you will get better at endgames, guaranteed. And you keep working those endgame puzzles, you'll get better at them. So this problem, though, is pre-endgame. This is a problem in the transition. It's a tactical question, right? It's understanding that if I attack here, what's going to happen? One is he could run away. Two is he could trade. And if he trades, I have to take back. And then what does he have? He might take here. And where that comes into quality thinking is, what did his last move do? His last move attacked these squares. And you have to decide, can I afford to let him take? You have to actually look at it and say, do I want to let him take? And if I let him take, even if I did something like this and he takes, I take back any pawn in that, yeah, I'm dropping a pawn. So you have to see that this pawn was at risk. Okay. So when you push that pawn, we have to understand that it's only defended once. And now you put another piece out here that is also being defended by the same pawn. So we have to understand the dynamic that this pawn is in there twice. So another move instead of here could have been here. This would have attacked the knight. Yep, I know, I know. Yep, that's what we're going over. Yep, yep, yep. So this one would have attacked the knight and still free up the pawn that you wanted to push to chase the knight rather than be here. But, it always feels good to go for it. I mean, and it's a, right? It's a nice location. It's a good outpost. There's no pawns to chase you away. But as soon as you go there, because it's such a nice outpost, you've got to realize black might try to push you away. And black does. Black immediately tries to push you away. So again, you could have went this way. You could have said, okay, but then you can't get rid of the knight. Well, you could, right? And just drop back. So you could, as long as you're willing to have pawns like this, same way black would do this, and you'd have a weird looking situation. You think about it. Let's see. Let's just see what it looks like. Could look like. Well, let's just develop. All right. So I mean, that would have been one weird pawn formation. Look at that's a weird pawn formation, but that's what could have actually ended up happening. So, but instead, when you have to look at the knight, say, oh, it's attacking my knight. So what? It's protected. Oops, that's not protected anymore. That's not protected anymore. By the way, black is also, if he wants to, threatening to take there. So when you did this, I didn't even think about this move. So I'm learning too, right? We're always learning together. Wow, Chris, 4 times. Wow. All right, so this might also work because if you take this way, black gets the knight and he still wins a pawn. And then this pawn is weak, but you could protect it. But I'm just saying, so that's it could have went that down that way. And of course, if you take this way, black takes back this way and still eats a pawn. So I didn't even see that. That probably would have been, I don't know if it's better because this knight wasn't really hurting. It might have been better if I had taken right here. So I didn't even realize that that threat was there because this knight is only protected by that. That's a good one for me to learn from. I'm gonna have to think about that a lot because I never saw it as black. I never saw it. All right, so we get to here and we trade. So here's where also, granted, we got a check in. Let's see, nope, no check. Okay, so the queen is attacking the pawn. White defends the pawn. Black attacks the pawn. Right? Can't push it. Can't take it because of the pin. All right, we have a semi-open file to think about. We have an isolated pawn. We have an isolated pawn. We have doubled pawns. So right now, white's pawn structure is much weaker. Much weaker. Good, Flavio. Awesome. Yeah, very interesting. I missed that tactic. Boy, oh boy. So right here, though, we're looking and we say white's pawn structure. This is a pawn island, but he has double pawns, and he has an isolated pawn, and he has an isolated pawn. Black has, look at this. He hasn't lost any pawns yet, right? So he hasn't lost any pawns. So he has one gigantic pawn island, but he has a backward pawn. So this is black's weakness is this backward pawn. White's weakness is the isolated pawns. All right, so those are the weaknesses that we're seeing. So basically, what white should do is not necessarily go to an endgame yet, but he should try to use the semi-open files that happens. Oh, my watch is talking to me. Semi-open files that happen because of this situation. All right. So we bring this rook over. This rook could have went too because this pawn wasn't going anywhere. So maybe leave this rook for the open file, semi-open file. But we get a trade, and here is where if you had taken with the rook, then black can't trade. The rook is kind of misplaced, but so I understand this, but this is encouraging. We're going to an endgame. And so again, the question is, which one is weaker? This situation, because you got rid of your double pawns. So is this one, are these two weaker, or is this one the weakness? And I think that if black can get this going, he'll prove that his pawns are better. All right. If anybody could do me a favor, Chris, maybe Flavio, if you could drop off, not drop off, go check out Sudakus's stream and get me the link to join his tournament. I think you need a link or you need to join this team. If you need to join this team, I need that. So I was going, you guys wanted me to play in the tournament. I have a compromise, but I need the link to join this team, and then I need the link to join the tournament, I believe. Yes, I know I need both of those in case he's live already. All right, so we get working on this end game. Oh, awesome! Can you get? I'm sure he's sharing the link for his team and for the tournament. Awesome, Chris. Thank you. Let me grab that. I gotta share this. Ooh, let's see if I can. All right, I gotta do some a little bit of work down here. A little bit of work. So see if I can't move this over here. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm gotta get prepped for this big tournament. And see if I got that. Oh, nope, that was not it. I'm trying to make sure I can copy that link, which is not. Okay, so it's just, I'll just type it. The old school way, it's club. Okay, so that's to join his club, right, Chris? Daku's chess. Mint. Okay, and then do you need anything to join his club, or is that don't do both? Yeah, it's supposed to be today. Yeah. And it's supposed to be, I think, at 10:30 start. So we have to hurry up and get into there. I want to make sure I get that going. But anyway, so let's get back to this game review with Flavio. Okay. So we start going to the end game, and Flavio, I think problem was definitely that you got your rook trapped over here and it got out of the game. Oh no, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. The tournament starts. That's no fun. Ah, thanks, Chris. I'm kind of sorry we missed it. Maybe next week. We'll try again next week. I had a surprise for him, but okay, get this. That's a drag. Okay, well, let's finish this up. So the rook got trapped off to the side, right? And so I thought the rook kind of got disconnected from the other rook forever. And so I thought that was a mistake. So I like this though, that you're trying to get the king into the game, and you found a way out of this problem. I thought this was a very clever, nice counterattack, and you're here. This is beautiful. So I decided to drop back, thinking I'm going to trade off when you come down. Um, I just didn't have any other choices really, and you get this one. I definitely want to get rid of the rooks. If I get rid of the rooks, I figure I win. Right? These pawns are going to be unstoppable. And if you can't stop them, you're going to have to do it. And my king gets to come over here, hopefully, finds a way in here. Might not be able to, but my king should be able to help me out, I'm hoping. So I'm here. I'm hoping you trade rooks. You say, nope, check. I can't. I thought and thought. And again, I was low on time enough, 151. Figured I cannot let you behind me. If you get behind me, my game is over. Right? So I can't let you behind me. So you had a draw. Obviously, you had a draw. Yep, yep, yep. And it's funny because you miscalculated this one. Dolo Bender discalculated the one that we looked at just a second ago, where he was trying to get me to trade queens at one point, and he shouldn't have. And same thing here, right? You can't do this trade because these pawns are now very powerful. And this is like an endgame puzzle, like all the ones we practiced, and you can't go backwards, right? So from here, you actually have to come and stay over here. I don't see any way that you could go backwards. And because you can't go backwards, right, we're limiting what you can do. You could do this, let's say, to start, which actually that might just work by itself. If I push here, you take. No, I still got to wait. I still got to wait till you move your king. All right. So then I believe I would sack here. And the idea is that if you push, I take. If you go, I can catch you. You could take here, but if you take there, I think I still get this kind of, I don't know. Oh my gosh, this is so complicated again. End games are so cool. So, yeah, I mean, I could try to run my king over here. That's an option. But I was thinking that I'd probably try to break this free. Um, but you do have this push here. And then I almost have to take. You could push or just take. And I could put, oh, it's just, like I said, it just gets very complicated if you push, right? Now, if I go here, you could still step inside the box. So you would catch my pawn. So pushing doesn't work. I have to go here, which means you could just come here to eat. And then I lose. Oh my goodness, this is so complicated. Love end games. Luckily for me, isn't what happened. You went this way. So I was thinking I had a one end game, but obviously I did not need to have a one end game. Again, learning our end games is why I keep saying that it's so critical. Because here I think, Flavio, I think you still did have a nice chance to win because here you have these three against these two. I have these three against these two. But if you start doing prophylaxis to keep me from moving that pawn, right? Because you take that one may not work. That one may not. We both get queens though. And so that might work for you because now who knows, right? I mean, seriously, who knows? Actually, that's checkmate. Wow. Yeah. Pawns take away every other square. Wow. So you couldn't, so we couldn't do that either. Wow, my goodness. Couldn't do that either. Yes, your king was very active. So yeah, on this one, you can't take this way even. This is just so educational. So from here, you also can't go, but you can go this way. So then my king would have to come over, and my king can trap yours. You still can't step up because it goes, right? You still can't take the time to do this because even if your king comes here to try to queen, this pawn's going to queen too fast. Oh my goodness. So it looks like this still might have been a saving grace for me, even even though it's two against going to be a two against one. Wow, this is just so scary. But again, you eventually you'd have this, and after you trade off those pawns, you'd have this pawn to go. So just again, dynamic, interesting, exciting. Why we need to know endgames. Even one is I told you that we were talking about transitions, but obviously we don't know if we should transition, right? We're not Magnus Carlsen. We don't know if we should transition unless we know we have a we're in the end game. And so since we're not in the end game, we don't know. So that's a problem there. It's just too much. I don't know. It's you got to know your end game so you know if you can transition and when you can transition and if you're winning. So you're definitely your winning chances over here, and your king had to go over here to help protect. But this is your winning chances are these three, and black's winning chances are these guys. But yeah, you cannot afford to step behind the pawns because as you saw, they actually got through. Very interesting. All right. So this is the tournament Flavio won. I know you don't care about winning tournaments, but you went undefeated. Brandon made a good comeback. He had lost a couple of games, but he played faster, so he got twice as. No, he got three more games than you did in Flavio. So that was pretty good. Dolo Bender had 3 wins. Came in after his first loss, which I don't even think he actually played that first game. Oh no, he did. Sorry, he played me. I forgot we had. I played for 1 round, or I think I dropped out. Yep, I played for 1 round and then I dropped out. Yeah, you should. That was a very good game. I Flavia, that was, and you've been playing well. And in fact, let's look at the games from Monday. So that was last night. You played well. We could actually look at another game from last night, but this is the games from uh, Monday, and you played Sudakus, who's over there doing his own stream right now. You guys should check out Sudakus when you get a chance if you don't know him already. But I think almost everybody on this channel does, and this was an interesting situation game here. So I played this just the other day, and I got killed. I got killed on a speed game on a blitz game because I played it wrong. I played here and my opponent went here and it was done. I was done already. I was done already. It was bad news. Yeah. He just did this and killed me. So we talk about knowing openings, right? I like playing the King's Gambit. And I played it totally wrong. I cannot take here. I can't take there, guys. I mean, you did the right thing. Now, normally black plays here in the opening, as far as I remember the line. But this is also played by masters and grandmasters. But most of the people our level play here, or don't push it at all. But some take here though. But yeah, and this is actually, like I said, what you played, Flavio, was the move that's played most by the masters when they tend to play King's Gambit, which isn't that often. So I've got to remember to take here, and I'll remember it because I really didn't like what happened. I fought back, but I ended up losing that game pretty easily. Like the pin on the knight, nothing wrong. Um, don't know if I like this move, but he does want to get the bishop out to hit the pawn, of course. Now you could, that's one way to protect the pawn. This is classical, where a lot of times even sacrifice is going to happen around that pawn being there. So that pawn was playable. And what happens a lot of times is instead of the bishop pinning even, the pawn just goes and the knight's not here yet, and you get a lot of action too. Also, your bishop here would be interesting. I don't know why the Sudakus didn't go all the way, except to maybe keep your knight out, because he could have tried to control the center more. It would have been interesting. I think here, this move would have been more interesting for him than the other. I'm not. I don't think I'm scared about this. So I think he would have done better with it pushed all the way. But let's see. Let's see what happens. You do win the game, so we know that's a problem for him. And so we're still only holding on to it with the bishop. And so now he has the bishop. He could try to get the rook on it if he could get his knight out of the way. And okay, he moves. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want you to get a check or any other shenanigans, I guess. But you start breaking apart the pawn center, and this one is one where it's really interesting. See, he could take and help you develop your knight, but he would also get rid of his doubled pawns. Now, conversely, you'd have a backward pawn, but he could push the backward pawn to get out of the backward pawn. Now he could develop here, and I think maybe again that would have been better for him. We don't usually like to help our opponents develop, but this looks like free candy. So you didn't take the free candy. Curiously, and oh, I know why, because he would take this free candy. So it was a little exchange. But remember, this is double pawns for you, Flavio. So you might be much happier to get rid of your double pawns and he still would have double pawns. But okay, we go here, and but unfortunately, if he takes with the knight, you take back. Then he's got two pieces hitting here. Um, you know, we're gonna see. I think no, that isn't what happened. All right, so let's just check this logic. So you could take here first, but if you take here first, the queen takes back, and you still can't take the knight. So it looks like, but if you take, oh, this is bad. You take with the rook, then he takes your bishop, and you lose the bishop, right? Got two pieces on that. So I'm curious why he didn't take. What am I missing? Am I missing anything that you see, Flavio? Because to me, it looks like this wins a piece. Take with the rook, he takes your bishop. Take with the bishop, he takes, the knight is pinned. The knight is pinned, and he can start trying to get more pieces on it. But he has a pawn that can protect it. He has the bishop that's going to be able to protect it. And eventually, you're going to have to use this pawn to try to win the knight for anything substantial, right? Let's see if I'm right. So let's start with a knight attacking it because that's a lower rated piece anyway. We could protect this way. Can't go here because the queen just takes. So this knight really doesn't have a square to go attack him yet. Could add another piece. Then he gets to take and add another piece. And he could still put the rook there eventually. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he missed just taking the bishop. But he decides to push and say, now your bishop has to go all the way back here. And you say, nope, I'm trading. And interestingly enough, he has a choice, right? Here or take the bishop. Don't know if it's a good choice, but let's find out. Because if he takes here, you could take here threatening the queen, which you do. And so now it looks to me like okay, he's not up a piece, but he gets to, it's already attacked twice, so you are going to lose it. But he has an isolated pawn, and he has three pawn islands. Not too bad. You have two pawn islands. So in this game, right now, also he's got two pieces developed. You have two pieces developed. Going to the end game might work for you. He didn't take the pawn. That's very odd. That's very odd. Still threatening to take it because no, he's not threatening to take it because if he takes, you take back with the knight. Oh yeah, he takes here. You can't take. You want to take the queen, but if you take the queen, he takes you with checkmate. All right, so he is threatening a little tactics. He could have just not been tricky though, right? He could have just not been tricky and just take the candy, take the piece that he earned back. But he's being a little tricky, attacking here through you to the pin. All right, so you actually ended up breaking the pin. You could have broken him here with the queen, doing a double attack on the pawn, which would have been nice, right? You still have the knight to develop, but you would have had a two attacking there. You could have went out here, which I'm not so crazy about. You could have went out here, which I'm not as crazy about, but that's okay. This one's fine. Attacks the pawn and blocks the pin. Brr. Woo! Blocks the pin. Blocks the pin. All right. So this attacks the pawn twice now, but otherwise it doesn't do anything because it's not a pin here, and this isn't really pinned anymore, and it's got a pawn protecting. So all this move did that I can see is attack that pawn twice. Okay. And you said, well, you're not gonna. You could take. I get to take back. But either way, I've just got the pawn. I'm attacking your queen, so that was a very nice move. And he moves his queen away. And so, yeah, you just won that pawn for nothing. So you're looking really good going towards the end game. And now you stack. It looks like back rank mate threats because why? He still has two whole pieces to develop. So back rank mate is definitely a possibility for the future. He trades, and now you're looking for that back mate. What happens here? Attacking the queen, attacking this square. Threatening mate. Right? He can't take. Check. Queen goes back, takes mate. Attacks the queen, threatens this square too for a fork. Yeah, I'm liking this one. Liking this move now. Now he has to, well, what he can't ignore it. He has to move his queen. Can't take. That's mate. So he has to move his queen. Where's he moving his queen? And you could try this, but that's still mate. That's still mate, folks. So where's he going to move his queen to? He wants to try to protect there. I mean, maybe here, maybe there. Wow, wow. I don't know about you. I'm not. I'm now we attack the rook. Where does the rook go? Can't go here. We just take it off. You like queen to f1 back here at this. Oh, sorry. So yeah, in answer to this, queen to f1. Yep, that might be what he has to do. And I think you still could just take this free pawn because his rook still can't come here. He can't move his knight now because his rook is under attack. His rook can't move here. His rook is under attack. So where does he go now? And he can move here. He moves his rook out. Then you can come here threatening mate. But of course, then his knight moves and you take and he takes back. But yeah, I'm thinking this would have put a lot of hampering, a lot of damper to his spirit. All right, so Chris says back here, Chris, you're saying queen to d4? All right, so you cover this square? Yep, that might work. That might work. I think you still just take here though, right? Queen can't take because it's still mate, and the rook still has to move. So yeah, I think my idea was that I'm going to win this pawn also, and then I'm going to be able to maybe infiltrate. Yeah, queen. It's just interesting. So yeah, at this point, just remembering that you have to notice that you're threatening back rank mate. And if you notice the back rank mate, then that might help you find moves. So he went here, and the only difference is now your knight's not doing anything over here, where in the other scenario, your knight was winning and attacking the rook, and then you don't know. Maybe you get your queen up here at the right time. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. Well, we do grab another pawn. Pawn's good. Pawn's good. Trades, and again, should Sudokus be trading? He is down a lot of. He's down 2 pawns. He's down 2 pawns. Both are potential pass pawns. They're still nicely on 2 pawn chains. So is his 2 pawn islands. So really dangerous. So he shouldn't really be trading off the pieces. So interesting, you gave yourself luft so you wouldn't get back rank mated, but you did allow him to have a discovered attack. So that was scary. I remember watching this at the time. I was like, wow, you're offering him a discovered attack. Now, does he have anything he could really do with that discovered attack? Don't know. But you did offer it. So he tried to take the discovered attack, but unfortunately, not attacking anything. This is protected. And these squares aren't scary to you. In worst case, the queen could just take it. So if he had went to one of these squares where it's attacking the queen, and so maybe he thought, well, he'll go here because you won't see the discovered attack, and you might take it with the pawn. But he just, we do it sometimes. We forget. Oh wait, the queen could do it. Queen doesn't have to stay there, guys. The pawn does take, but the queen can take also. So the problem is from here, he doesn't really get anything either, right? You could just move out of the way. Um, and then the knight doesn't really have any. He can go back, he can here and protect. But in the long run, these pawns are going to win the game. So in the long run, those pawns should win the game. But he missed that you got free candy. He gets 1 pawn. You trade a bunch of pawns. He definitely was working, had some chances trying to get a mate out of it. But I like his not giving up again. I love it when people don't give up. Oh, free candy. Did he see it? Yes, he did. But he fell into a fork. He fell into a fork. Nicely done. Nicely done. It was free candy, but led to the fork. And I'm not seeing anything he could do about the fork. By the way, his rook is pinned. Still pinned. Oh, that is beautiful, Flavio. That is beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. So that pin, along with the fork, is just it's done. I don't even know what he can do. So he takes here, and you take with the knight, which I kind of like because the knight gives you a discovered check, plus the queen is still under attack. Plus the queen is still under attack. Now, could you have done better? Yeah, maybe faster. It's just check. Just check. And then where does he go? He only has one of two squares. Your choice, dealer's choice. You've got mate. So that's better. He goes here. It's still mate. So that's better. And I will be totally honest with you. I didn't even see the mate until I looked up and said, oh, there's mate. Because I just saw that you would take the queen. So I just saw, oh, you're going to win the queen if you say check, because you get rid of the rook. There's no more pin. But you also had mate. That's probably better. But you took with the knight, so now his queen runs around a little bit. You get your discovered attack, and then you get your. All right. Now, if he had gone here though, right? He could have prolonged it further if he went here. Now you could have checked, but this check is not a mate. Doesn't mean you're not going to get mate, right? You're still going to get mate. Okay. Awesome game. Good job. Good job. So mate is always better. I agree. Mate is always better. All right. Let's. We should go. So, you want to take a look and see how Flavio's turn. I mean, it's Flavio. See, I just think you are the man.
This tournament
The
is
doctor who
turning
says
out
his
to be
tournament's going.
just
Let's see. I can't see all the names up there, but he's doing it as a Swiss today, huh? I didn't know he normally did this as a Swiss style tournament. That's pretty cool that he does a Swiss style tournament. I was thinking it was just an open tournament. Um, yep, we'll have to join him next time. I guess we're gonna have to just not do this lesson at all and play in his tournament if we're ever gonna play in his tournament like you guys voted for. I did not realize. Um, no, let's go look at that. Let's definitely go look at that. All right, let me get out of here and close this just so I don't eat up bandwidth for no reason. So your last game, all right, Flavio. Last game was against where's your 1800 game? I don't see it. My last game with 1800 on the team battle. So I'm on the team battle. Let me show you full screen. And then I click on you, right? Because you could do that. So I click on Flavio. And here's your performance over here. And I don't see the 1800. Was if it was the very last game, yeah, it didn't count in the tournament. Gotcha. That's what I thought you were going to tell me. I thought it might not have counted in the tournament. My last game did not count in the tournament either. Let's see, but excellent. You've been playing a lot too. So could it be? Nope. You played in the Champions League, huh? B group. Was that with Leonard? Was it Math Man? Yeah, he was on my team. Math Man. Yes. Yes. All right. Let's see how you did. Also, let's see. He's joined us on the stream. Oh, look, Queen's Gambit. Look at you. Look at you playing the Queen's Gambit. Nice. Playing the Queen's Gambit. All right. I didn't know he was 1800 right now. Pretty good by him. Like I said, he's been a. I've been teaching him chess since he was 12 years old, and he's like 20 something now. So we've been doing it for 12 years. Very interesting formation. Ah, but let's look at the game, right? We're doing transitions to endgame, so let's look at the game. First of all, I see 6 pawns versus 5 pawns. Flavio is down a pawn. So you are down a pawn. I didn't realize he was black. He has a passed pawn. So he has a passed pawn. Nobody fighting his passed pawn. He's up a pawn. You have a deeper pawn here, but it's actually unprotected at the moment. So it looks like free candy at the moment. He has a bishop that needs to get developed somewhere. His knight is not well developed. His queen is not well developed. All right. His king side is okay. I mean, he looks safe, but you do have a beautiful, beautiful look like you could get pieces over here. You look like you have the makings of a king side of attack. Now, what's important is to look at is again, he has a passed pawn. You don't. He has one more pawn than you do, and you need to probably find a way to get back that pawn or checkmate him because you're losing the end game otherwise, right? If you went to the end game right now, if he could trade off all the pieces and get to an end game, I think you're hurting because he has the extra pawn. All right, so let's see what happens. I think this is a mistake. begin with, but I think he's worried about this sacrifice, maybe. I don't know. I think this is a mistake because this is free candy. And we should normally take free candy. Now, he can pin you, right? We have to think about all the things that might happen. He could pin you. So maybe, oh no, he can't pin you. Come on, Klubeck, wake up. So yeah, no, you have the queen right here, right? You have the queen. All right, so the queen's under attack. You can come here. Ooh, I like this. Threatening mate and attacking the knight. All right. Yeah, so that's not good, right? He can't afford that move. Okay. So he can't take it's not true free candy. Poison pawn, you get to do this attack and you win back the knight. Gotcha. With you. Still don't like this move. Still don't like that move. I just don't like it. I don't know what to do about it at the moment, but I know I don't like that move. He could try chase you off the file, but that would push you over here, and that's okay. I'm just not crazy about that move. I don't know. It just doesn't fit in my stomach right. All right, so now you transition and you attack again. That's the beauty, right, of these two bishops is that you can attack both. Now, he could just bring the knight back and put it where it belongs anyway and do the classic protection. By the way, this is the battery that can give you checkmate. We saw a game earlier in the week on Monday where the bishop was ahead of the queen, and so all we could do was check. But now with the queen in front, you're threatening mates. So again, you could just bring the knight back to where it belongs, then maybe get his bishop developed, right? That bishop is not developed. That bishop is hurting him because he's not developed. His problem is not developed. And while this stops the checkmate, it weakens the king side. So my idea is get the knight to a better position. Forget about the pawn. Get my knight to a better position. Get my bishop to be able to be developed and be happy. This to me seems better. This protects these squares. Right? The knight is doing work. The bishop is ready to come out to somewhere and get involved. And if I can get these two rooks connected, you might be in trouble. But he doesn't. He pushes the pawn, and now you change, right? See again, if the knight were there, you wouldn't care about this change of direction, right? We don't care about the change of direction if my knight's here. My knight's in a nice square doing his job. But now we get a threat of taking here with check. Sweetness, good job. So what does he have to do? He has to get out of the pin. He could walk that way. He could have went this way. I don't think he wants to go this way because of this pin, right? He didn't like all these pins. But I'm seeing, oh man, that's a great square for your rook. I'm seeing a great square for your rook, Flavio. That just looks so tempting. Tempting. He can't even do this because you just take here. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that's so. Look at that. Oh, and breaks the queen off from here. Oh, it's just. Oh, that feels good. Again, I don't know if it's the best move, but sometimes things just feel good. Oh, you did? Okay. Let's see where it happens. Oh, wow. I love when it jumps around 200 miles. Okay, so we get there. King goes here. We get the pawn push. Um, and I take it you want to get the rook free to get your rook into the game. So that makes sense. And he attacks the rook. But you could just do a rook lift, right? That's probably what you wanted anyway. Yep, here comes the rook lift. And he pushes another pawn. That gets the pawn out of danger. But this is so weak. Everything is looking so weak. Okay, and we reposition again, threatening checkmate. Just threaten, threaten, threaten. And we said this also earlier, I think on Monday, that it's much easier to play offense than defense. And that's what you're doing. You are continuously finding new targets. And just think about it. Remember, I talked about these bishops raking. Now look at it. That's all you're doing. You're just using these beautiful diagonals, and this knight is still not well placed. This bishop is better, but it's not good. And it's like it's kings is a quit because of wow, troubles in River City. Yeah, here I think I was thinking actually here first. I like that one, but also here works. But this works too. All of these threaten mates, or at least not mates. It's pretty good devastation. Okay, and there we go. We get that move in. Queen is still holding this. So wow, wow, just I don't know what to tell you. Wow, I'm liking that. Attacking here now. That's the only piece attacking because the queen and bishop battery are blocked off now. So black is finding ways to defend. Maybe here? Is that what he does? Yes. Yep. Chase the rook. Rook goes over and says, now I got two rooks hidden here, though. How do you want to protect it, buddy? Again, if this knight could be someplace else, right, it would be nice. But the knight can't be someplace else. Looks like we want to put the rook here. If we put the rook there, do we just attack him again? So, so nasty. So nasty. All right, tries to counterattack on the queen. Nothing wrong with that, right? Understandable. Makes sense. But does it work? Let's see. You just say, no, I'm going to threaten mate again. This is so beautiful. Just continuously putting the pressure on, threatening mate every chance you can. Goes this way and says, I'll protect against mate. Maybe again. This would have been better, but this doesn't stop this move, right? He still loses the pawn, going to lose that pawn. Danger, danger. So he goes here, but I think, yep, I called it. This is pretty easy to see. And the rook can't come here. So you have to give up the rook for the bishop, right? That to me is obvious. You have to give up the rook for the bishop. And look who's still not playing. Can't go here. Can't go here. Can't go here. Can't go here. It just gets taken off multiple ways. And if he goes here, he disconnects the rook, which allows this check and then mate. Oh my goodness. So we do a totally do nothing move. Maybe get the rook here. Maybe. But it's too late. Too little, too late. Take, take. So that's interesting too. You know, bishop could have taken first, but why? Why? You know, this is fine. Sacked this rook, right? This look at that. Could have just taken the rook. Would have been mate? Yes. Would it have been mate? We get that check in, and then we have mate. We have another check. Yes, we do. Oh no, this has got to be mate right here. All right, so yes, mate. So he can't take the rook. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt, folks. So he comes here, not so much threatening the rook. He wants to take her with the king. He's trying to free his queen to protect this file. So not bad idea, right? But the queen could take, bishop or pawn would take, then you take, and then you're down material. Let's see what happens. Oh, you just quietly go back. I like it. Knight is still pinned. Not pinned, but the knight is still under attack. Sorry. The knight is still under attack, right? That knight never found a good home. Still hasn't. So right now the knight's under attack. And yeah, otherwise piece of material is actually equal at this moment, believe it or not. So the knight finds a new home, hopefully protecting what? Yeah, yeah, trying to protect, trying to be a good knight, and you keep chasing him. I'm going to take it. He's going to take, but then that takes him away from defense work. So was that a calculated play on your part to get into there? Look at that. Look at that. Queen can't come over. That's just mate. Rook can't get there. Nothing can get there to save this pawn. And if you can't save the pawn, it looks like mate's coming soon. I haven't, like I said, looked it all over, but it looks like mate coming soon. So that's very nice calculations. His knight was trying to do some good work, and you just like said, no, sorry, your good works are not going to work for you today. Couldn't go here, of course, because the queen had mate here. Beautiful. What a game. What a game. But as a good soldier, he fights on, right? Fights on. And now he's going to drop the queen. And actually, I think you missed a mate. Again, I think we got to find the mates. Got to find the mates. Got to find the mates. I don't know how much time you had left in this one. The clock's not on here for some reason. Usually it shows time, but yeah, you had mate. Oh, there it is, because I moved. So you had 2 minutes, and he only had 52 seconds. This should be a simple mate to see. You know, this is the kind of mate we want to be able to see very easily. So you did good by not putting the queen here. Then that blocks the mate. But you could have went here. Then he has no choice, right? He has no choice, and it's mate. Or equally good was the rook move because you have mate. So we want to find those mates and get it over with, right? Because Again, you never know what happens. You take here, the next move you could blunder your queen. It happens. If he didn't move his king, if he didn't move his king, let's say he put his rook here to attack your bishop, I've seen people do things like, oh mate, and then you just take it off. Right? It happens. It happens to the best of us. So again, when you can see a mate early, you want to grab that early mate, and that's just mate. Yep, very good, very well done. Nice game, very nice game. And he's a very good player. What does it taste like? No, he's a very good player. So you did very well. All right, guys, that's about it. We go over games, so um, we need to, of course, decide what we're going to do with Wednesdays. So it's only an hour because it's my lunch break. I like going over your games from Monday. So if you like it, I'll continue to do this. But you did want me to play in the tournament. I will try that next week. We'll see how that goes. And I do have the link now, so that should work for the future. All right. Let's see. Well, we should definitely probably go ahead and grade for those that are not already also watching Sudoku says. Oh, look at this. The chill comment is live right now, too. So let's see what Sudoku is doing. I think he's doing his tournament. Yes, he's still in his tournament. So let's see what the chill comment is doing. Yeah, it looks like he's taking on comers and trying to play and learn how to play. So you guys already know Sudokus. I know you could get to Sudokus easy enough. I'll raid the chill comment. So in case any of you don't know him, and one of the reasons I want to raid him is he will be competing in our Mayhem tournament. I should be telling you that. Oh, better yet, Chill Comment is actually playing in the tournament. Awesome. I'm glad he's playing in it. That's good. He needs to practice. So he'll be playing in our Mayhem tournament along with 7 other players. We're just trying to get contracts signed basically to make sure that our 8 players are locked in, ready to go. So hopefully they will be, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's check out Chill Comment in the tournament, see how he does. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. We'll see. Oh, reminder. Tonight I have an adoption match with my older brother. So that'll be going on at 8 o'clock. So if you want to see me try to adopt my older brother, join me at 8 o'clock. It'll be fun. It's something different I was trying out. I've always wanted to get him back for all the times he beat me when I was young. So we'll see. It's going to be tough. He's been playing really well. He's learning. He's one of my students. So I can use some luck. I definitely expect some predictions that we could run to see if I actually, maybe the predictions are which game does he win, which game does he draw, because that's all he needs. Yeah, so, scary. It'll be I'll be definitely pressured. So, all righty, guys, we will see you later. Have a great day, and check out the chill comment. He's become chill.